minutes. And
Oh, here we go.
we are going to start with,
There are two of them.
yep. There is let's work backwards, shall we? August 26th.
Sure.
I have them.
Oh, right, okay, I wasn't sure.
Printed out in
Back
lavender,
there.
but thank you very
If you
much.
guys want to see a copy or a reference.
Okay, this is the special select board meeting on August 26th, where we went directly into executive session.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Mike and Brad, all in favor of adopting. Oh, is there any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. And next is the select board meeting of Monday, August 19th. Second, okay, discussion. Any changes that anybody saw? Anything you needed to?
The public comments, number 6, Detesso, it's Detesso, just misspelling. It's a new person in the land of Shaftsbury.
Yes. Pastor did touch, so he runs the,
Bennington Bagels,
and is that it?
that's it for what I saw.
We have to vote on it, though.
I know, I just
Oh, sorry.
wanted to remember to write as amended. Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye. I will, yes, there you go.
Thank you.
Hey, warrants.
There are 4 different warrants in there and sticky notes on each explaining. But I will also explain.
Thank you, Paula.
Yep.
Right, the invoice warrant. F warrant report number 25007. For $122,229.15. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Mike and Brad. Items of note or over 1,000. A&K Agri Services, 2,118.77.
It's gravel, sure pack for the DPW.
1,725.16 for Aflac.
Supplemental insurance for employees.
12,510.23 to the Brush Blue Shield.
Employee health insurance.
1,264.68 to Bold Fuels.
Well, that's into the G's.
Well, there's 2 to Bold Fuels.
Yeah, there are. This one's always confusing. I know it's for the DPW too. Oh, there they are. Yeah, diesel for the oil and diesel for the DPW.
2,200 to CAI Technologies.
That's the map database companies for their maintenance.
S-Tech Systems, 252.52.
252.
SI.
SI. S as in Sam? Oh, ESI.
ESI.
Those are the new phones.
Ah! We
They're not
the new
hooked up yet,
phones.
but we have the
Well,
phones.
We have to begin paying for them because that's the contract, but we can't hook them up. We're delayed to hook them up because we are,
The wires up.
the wires up from the server
The
and
server, we have to bring it all up. We got
because
the
of
estimate today.
the mold issue, we're delayed.
Wow.
Yeah. But we are in process.
755 to Frost Wells and Pumps.
Frost wells and pumps, that is a water pump repair and maintenance.
on Coal
I don't know. I want to say that is Howard Park. I didn't have the invoice in here and I can ask Josh when he's here, but I know that it is one that he signed, but he doesn't put the notes on there and I didn't have a chance to ask him. But it's either at the pump house or it's at Howard Park. And just repair and maintenance on those. And I will double check.
2,818.51 to Hathaway Electric.
That's the electric installation at the transfer station shed.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, heat too. They have an electric radiator as well.
And then Madison Repair Services for 2,933.33.
Yep, those are repairs and parts. Looks like the backhoe, the grader, and the truck number 4.
$3,400 to Matt Morris Excavating.
34,000.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Missing a zero there. That is the finishing of the demolishing of 43 Buck Hill Road and the removal of all debris.
And the appropriate recycling of that, which will be recycled.
Recycled everything.
Okay. To Nimerick, 7,750.
Yep. Those are, that's the September fee for assessment services, preparing for reappraisal.
Peckham, 1,718.28.
Paving, that's the material for demo house. To access the property. I think that's why I flagged that one. They didn't want to go to the left side here of Cole Hall, so they made a little path going this way, not to disturb anyone, and had to put down gravel and everything for the backhoes. So it was the preparation for that. And then filling it in when they were done.
So that's a component of the demolition.
Yes.
RCS Consulting, 1,241.75.
That is the monthly network maintenance.
Sycamore Landscaping, 4,550.
The 2,600 is for cemetery maintenance and the 1,925 is he helped us with summer mowing because we couldn't find a part-time person.
And he's our permanent landscape person for
For the
that.
cemetery, yep.
VLCT, 19,254.25.
That is the passive, which is like the workman's comp and all that insurance stuff. It's interesting because when I looked at this bill, it's like a quarterly payment, but it's based on an estimation because we don't know if anyone collects workman's comp. It's not like it, they give us credits and it kind of goes all year round, like,
Just in case.
yeah.
Do they give it back if nobody?
Yeah, I mean, they adjust it, it kind of,
That's
it's adjusted, it's very interesting, it adjusts kind of as
Yeah.
they go.
Okay.
But I'm like, what, the estimate?
1,860.09 to Wallingford Crushed Stone. That must have been for crushed stone.
Yes, I think so. Sure, more sure packing gravel. It's nice when it's right in the title.
Yes. 12,100 to Weaver Excavating.
That was the rental of the excavator for the White Creek Road Culvert project. Yeah.
All right.
All
Any questions? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next is payroll. Check warrant report number PR05. Total of $30,231.81. And I have a motion.
So moved.
Second, thank you, Brad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is the one that includes the payment to people who work the polls.
Right.
So it's a little bit larger. This one is Weimer's and Vermont and US Treasury payroll taxes.
Payroll taxes for the state of Vermont and the US Treasury. And they want their part of it too. And the retirement fund.
It's check warrant report number PRW02. And its total is. Its total is 18,097.31.
So moved. Second.
Insurance is expensive.
Insurance is expensive. Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Last but not least. This is a check already cut for the DPW's new Ford F-550. New truck,
The first of 5 payments yearly.
it's the first of
Alone.
5, and can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is something we actually voted on already, so I came in and signed it to, as we.
Remember the check upon delivery of the truck.
All right. Announcements?
Two. A reminder to everyone that the last hearing for the enhanced energy plan is on Monday, September 23rd here. And we will be voting on it at that meeting at the end of kind of public comment time. And then Monday, September 30th, there is a public meeting to discuss the Vermont with V-Trans to discuss the diversion, I guess, of traffic to Shaftsbury due to some road work that's happening north of us.
Yes.
And so both of those will have information on the website.
As soon as I get it, yeah.
Oh, and is it
At the elementary school at 6
The one on
PM
the
in the
30th,
gym.
yeah.
6 PM, elementary school.
At the gym.
Yep.
Yeah. put that on
And the
calendar.
EEP Enhanced Energy Plan hearing will be at the end of the select
I'll
board.
reach out to her to try and get my agenda, because they'll be sending the agenda.
Okay.
I'm assuming you-
And then
That's
another
until
event
2027,
like that
right?
to note is that this Wednesday, September 11th.
No, I mean the actual
At 5:30
construction is
at
until
the town
2027.
garage, we are having a brainstorming and forum kind of discussion about the roads.
Is there gonna be a agenda for that?
We don't need.
Could you repeat that, Naomi? I'm hearing somebody's voice over yours. Can you repeat what you just said about the roads?
Sorry, Andrea, hi. Thanks for saying that. Yes, on Wednesday, September 11th at 5:30 in the town garage, we're having a brainstorming session / discussion forum on the roads, their maintenance and the state guidelines about road maintenance. Anybody who wants to attend is once again encouraged to read the state guidelines, which are posted on the town website,
Right on the homepage.
right on the homepage, easy to find. Any other announcements? We had come to the public comments time. If you would like to pull your chair up and come and introduce yourself and. I guess.
My name is Robin Outwater. I'm a resident of Bennington. And I have a few traffic safety related questions concerning vehicle entrance and exit from the buck stop convenience store up the road. I was hoping to get some feedback from the group. My first question is, can you tell me why there's a difference in the speed limit on 7A in front of the buck stop going northbound as opposed to going southbound?
So, I mean, as far as that, I don't know why, but I know that would be a V-Trans question because they regulate the speed.
I thought it was
There
always,
is one
it's all
coming south.
40, isn't
There,
it?
yeah, it's 40 miles per hour, and then as you kind of approach the buck stop, it's 25, but it looks. There's a 25, like a sign within a sign.
Like it's approaching.
Yeah,
they're
but
gonna
like
be
you're
slowing
approaching a
down to
25.
20.
When you come south, and you pass Airport Road,
Right.
okay, and
Yeah.
you're heading toward the ATM machine,
Mhm.
there's a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Right,
When you get to the ATM machine,
Mhm.
just beyond the entrance, it turns into 25 miles an hour.
I've never seen that sign.
Yeah,
I
and
drove
then
by
it
just to-
remains 25 miles an hour as you go past the buck stop
Wow.
up the hill
and
in
then the
through
blinking
town.
lights there, yeah.
When you head northbound from the flashing light, it's a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit coming into town.
Right.
Until you get past.
And then when you go down over the bridge, at the foot of the bridge, at the intersection of 67 and 7A, it turns into 40 miles an hour.
Mhm.
And it remains 40 miles an hour all the way up through Airport Road. And the 40-mile-an-hour sign at the end of the bridge is roughly 30 yards from the entrance of the buck stop parking lot.
Mhm.
Southbound, the 25-mile-an-hour sign is roughly 30 yards from the entrance of the buck stop.
Hmm.
And I raised this concern because I was almost in an accident a couple of weeks ago where, and this leads to another question, but I had difficulty seeing traffic coming southbound because cars were parked between
Mhm.
the edge of Route 7 and the gas pumps. And it was hard to see over them because it wasn't just a vehicle. There were two commercial trucks. One was a box truck and one, so it blocked your view. So when I was looking northbound to see oncoming traffic, I looked south to look for oncoming traffic, and I didn't see it. And when I pulled out, this car was coming, it was over 40 miles an hour and just instantly right on top of me.
Yeah,
And it happened to be an out-of-state car. If I looked at the license plate, and it was Connecticut. And not that it means, but it wasn't a local.
Mhm. Right.
And a lot of people understand that there are traffic concerns as you get down the hill. But they possibly saw the 40-mile-an-hour sign and then sped up and then came around the corner, and there are people entering and exiting the buck stop parking lot. So I was just curious, there has to be a reason why the state put a 40-mile-an-hour northbound speed limit and a 25-mile-an-hour southbound speed limit.
We can
I-
hope so.
I went to the state, though, and they said, you have a valid concern, but we cannot act on a resident's concern. The town of Shaftsbury must initiate a request for investigation.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons why I'm here tonight.
Well, thank
All right.
you. Thanks for doing that legwork.
Yeah,
Right.
Right.
And then the other question I have, would it be possible, because the buck stop
Mhm.
is not part of V-Trans and 7A issue.
It's a private business.
Right, private business, but I was wondering if it might be possible to petition the buck stop to delineate a no parking area
Mhm.
between Route 7A and the gas pumps.
We have been trying to talk to them about that, and have not yet gotten through.
Yeah, I left them 2 messages and they get like a couple times a week, keep trying and, leaving
Right.
messages, but it's not that far away. I do intend to go in there and speak to them because every time I go in there, it's so busy,
Oh, yeah.
like,
And
okay,
now part of the problem is gonna be there's 3 to 4 different owners over there.
that's right.
each
not
section
just-
of the
not just
store is
one
owned by a
person
different
owns
party.
it. Right,
The gas is owned by one, the deli's owned by one, the
Right.
cigarettes and
But the
booze
boat
is
itself
owned by another
itself
one.
Is owned by an owner that has multiple buck
right,
stops
because it's
throughout.
it's the
It's a-
second one, it's like the
yeah.
buck stop.
I'm
two or
not sure
something.
what
Yeah.
V-Trans would say regarding any type of permanent delineation between Route 7A and the gas station.
Right,
But there possibly could be some traffic markings on the surface. You know, but with no parking and maybe no parking sign and possibly even a 25-mile-an-hour sign that could be incorporated somehow in there.
Mhm.
But that would have to be addressed by the state as it relates to a signage for it. And then it would have to be addressed by the buck stop owner as it relates to petitioning off a
Mhm.
recording of a no parking area.
Yes, that also might be V-Trans because it's in their right of way.
Could be, and that's what I don't know, but I wanted to
Mhm.
at least surface the concern and request that it is followed up with V-Trans.
Have you recently seen what they did on Benmont Avenue by
Oh,
the
yes,
Apollo gas stations?
yes.
If the buck stop did that, the traffic issue would go away. If they put in curbs and made a distinct area where people could enter and exit, the risks of accidents would go away,
Right now.
nobody would be parking there, and it would be safe,
That's one possibility.
right? But I don't know who pays for that, whether it's the buck
Exactly,
stop
because
or
I think the buck
V-Trans,
stop would
right?
probably balk at that expense.
Of
And
course they would,
There are other
yes.
businesses that I recall in years past that had curbs put in front and it affected their patronage. Customers decided that they didn't want to go through that maze and in and out, and then they went someplace else because of the new parking concerns. So, I mean, that's a consideration I'm sure the buck stop would have.
Right.
But there might be some acceptable way of curbing that type of traffic. There's one thing about having a car there, but at one time there was a tractor trailer truck
Yeah. at
there.
different times.
Several
Right,
times a
several
day, there's
times
big
a
trucks
day.
over there.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
pickup trucks or box truck or
Yep.
whatever that makes it.
It's a very boring business. It seems
Yeah.
like all times of day,
Right.
there are
Exactly.
lots
Yeah.
of cars parking and not necessarily adequate spaces
Mhm.
out front because people are now parking on sides and all over the building and other parts I've seen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, it's,
I'm really sorry you have
Yeah.
that scary moment.
glad you're doing okay.
oh, yeah, well.
You did get hit.
No, but I'm just concerned about others and, and it seems like an accident waiting to happen. I mean, a bad accident. I've witnessed, I've been there over the years, where there've been fender benders, you know, in the parking lot. People backing out, pulling in, moving around to get, you know, access to the pump in a different direction based on where their gas cap is located.
Right.
And now with the parking right roadside, it makes it even more interesting to see how the
Yes.
logistics work.
Yeah.
So,
I'll continue follow up my attempts, wrap them up.
Yeah.
Yes, and we'll look into writing to the state
Mhm.
to, with
Yeah.
a request,
Contact V-Trans.
intervention on that signage issue.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
you're welcome. Good night. Have a good night.
Can I make a public comment?
Yes,
Okay, hi, this is Andrea Baki. I just wanted to make everybody aware that the Renewable Energy Conference 2024 is going to occur October 16th and 17th in Burlington. And the website has all the information and you can register, and there are discounts for town committees and other good information. I think it's a really important conference that people should know about. So I'm just putting it out there, and I don't know if that's something we can put on the Town of Shaftsbury website, but I would like to make a recommendation that we put the website up on there, the link with that information.
thank
So-
you. And you want to say it again for posterity, when it is and where it is?
Yeah, so it's the Renewable Energy Vermont Conference, so REV. The conference is at the DoubleTree Hotel in Burlington, Vermont, October 16th and 17th, which I believe is a Wednesday, Thursday. So it's like an all-day thing, and there's, I think, over, I don't know, it was just a large number of speakers and topics that really affect us all. So I thought I'm gonna be there. So I'm definitely gonna get a lot of information and bring it back to the Energy Committee, and then of course I can bring anything back to the Select Board too. But just wanted to put it out there in case anybody would be interested in going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. There's no other public. No other public. So next, we are skipping the treasurer's report because our treasurer is not here. And we're moving on to the assessor's request for town map realignment. Ms. Jones?
Yeah. Hello. So Jen helped me with some files. I believe you guys received a copy of this map that Paula, Shelley from zoning and I had a meeting with Franco, excuse me if I'm saying it wrong, who is the gentleman that owns and runs CAI, which is our mapping company for our tax maps. And for quite a while now, I have noticed parcels that are the little yellow lines are not where they're supposed to be. And these are the main ones. I went through and I wrote down all the ones that I could find. So there's a good example of how the lines are off. It really should not be going through the person's barn.
Unless they put their barn in the wrong place.
Yeah, well, no, because you can tell by the roads also that so we have 3 examples of where to show you how bad these maps are. And so when Franco came out, we discussed this and he said that he would send us prices. And he made them in zones, obviously, of the worst ones that I feel are the worst ones. And it's mostly like by the New York border and where the villages are, for the most part. There's a few out on the other ends, but it doesn't really chop up people's houses like it does in the town. And you know, a lot of people think this is godly, this information,
Yeah.
where it's not. It's just a guesstimate, but still it causes a lot of issues for our residents because they think that's their property and that they have a lot, their neighbors is going through their barn or their house and things like that. So to make the long story I'm telling you a little shorter, he gave us an estimate that if we broke it up, it'd be a total of $15,620. And if you did it all at once, it'd be $14,200, which is almost a 10% discount. And we have enough money in the reappraisal fund to cover this. Reappraisal will cover any kind of mapping. If we needed to get the whole town done, that would have been way over $120,000 to remap Shaftsbury, where we're just trying to fix these, I feel are actually major problems that he can tweak and fix and align them for less than $15,000, where we have enough money in the reappraisal fund to do so. So I'm just asking for the select board's permission to hire CAI to fix these issues.
And then to interject just a little more information, what I learned in that meeting is that it's not just Shaftsbury, he's like, it's pretty much everywhere, because over the decades, you know, the maps went from paper, and then as computers came along, the different technologies were kind of layered upon layer upon layer, and as those layers of technology and computer programs, everything kind of shifted, and it couldn't really be rectified, so now most of the towns are skewed. So it's not specifically Shaftsbury, he's like, it's hard to find a town that isn't.
Wow.
I personally, I don't think that's a bad price considering to do the whole town, to redo the whole mapping.
It's labor
It's
intensive.
huge.
Yeah.
And this is a lot of work, and I was.
This is a
shocked.
lot of work because I can compare it to what I'm doing with the cemeteries and that's nothing.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm shocked at
Yeah.
how low he came in, honestly.
Can you tell us something about the fund?
What would you like to know about the fund? How much we have? I
Where
can
it
tell you
comes from and how-
where it comes from. Okay, so the state gives Shaftsbury $8.50 for every active parcel. So this is why we have inactive parcels that we are mandated by the state to make contiguous with people that have more than one parcels that touch. So if you have two parcels and it's in John Brown and John Brown, and they touch, or there's a road between them, it used to be river, and now that's an iffy thing, so I don't know anymore, that's one of those. We're gonna change it, but we don't know if we're gonna change it type things. So as of right now, even if a river divides you. I am responsible to make sure that these are contiguous. So like if you have 10 acres here and 10 acres here. Everything on this property is gonna go to the parent parcel. All that information is going over here. This is made inactive. Once this is made inactive, the state doesn't give us $8.50 for it.
Huh.
Yeah, so we have lots of those. We have like 1,970 parcels, and we have 1,775 that are taxable. And I believe out of that, we get less than 1,500 parcels for the $8.50. So since we haven't reappraised since 2010, all that money's been going into a fund, and then whoever touches the money, put it into a CD. And at the beginning of the year, when the CD matured, they took it out and put it into a savings account. And it is getting a lot of interest, more than I saw on the CD. But, so that was nice. So yeah, the assessor's office is making a little bit of money every month. Which we normally don't do.
I see.
So it's nice. So yeah, we have like over 300,000. And the reappraisal is at least 185,000. That's where that 700 or $7,750 a month times 24 months. They break it up that way for us, which is nice because then we're keeping the money in the savings account, collecting interest. But that's the going rate, and so we still have a lot of money left over. So it'd be nice to use that to pay for mapping, because if we don't do it now, we're gonna eventually have to, and it's gonna come out of the taxpayers' money. We're gonna have to find a way to come up with that money.
And now you don't have to because it's covered.
Right, because we have this money. And who knows
the
where that
opportunity.
money's gonna end up years from now. If the state takes over and doing reappraisals, which is just talk. But if they do that, then they'll take that money back, and then we would have to come up to fix, because I'm sure they would want the maps fixed.
Right.
So we have it, and it
So
would be
just-
nice to fix it now so that it's nobody else's problem down the line.
While we have them.
This,
Mhm.
this money is going to fix everyone in the town that is kind of
Within the
like
borders.
that picture.
Not everyone.
No.
Everyone.
In the
everyone
zones.
in the zones.
It's in zone 1%.
Right.
So this is not the entire town being fixed. This is only partial
It's a lot.
of what the
Yes.
town.
Well, it's the
needs.
most.
It's the
most populated.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, if I come to find that there's other major issues down the line, that's something we have 2 years of reappraisal.
right,
So it's something, I can only look so far, so much, so often at
right,
things.
right.
Yeah.
Do you have a rough number how many parcels are in zones 1 through 7?
No.
No.
No, I have no clue. I wrote down a bunch, and he's gonna go through, it's gonna be more than what I wrote, because I just gave him the major ones.
Right.
But I believe way we discussed it, that he's gonna fix all those zones, not just the ones I sent him. Because once he's in there, he's gonna be tweaking and he's gonna be correcting all those.
And they overlap with each other.
Great, yeah,
They're
but I mean, zone,
contiguous.
Right.
zone 5 and 6 and 4 and 3, lots of parcels. And when things slow down, if they slow down, maybe like in January, I might have time to look at the map again and find other ones, or if someone brings it to my attention, because some people, this is great, people will call me and tell me what the issues are and what they see, and that's how we know to look for these things. So it's always welcomed, any information like that. Can't promise we'll fix it, but we will try.
You have to know about it.
Mhm.
Any other further questions for? No.
Did you want to go and show them the next,
The reappraise, I don't know,
no, the parcels that,
The examples?
oh, go ahead.
you wanted to talk about that barn?
No, I already did.
Oh, but we didn't go and show them the
So,
other.
yeah, here's another good
There's
one.
one that goes right through the house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and this, I believe, is over like Elm Street area. And the next one, I think it's Harvest Hill,
again, through the house and barn,
or that, or vice versa.
Meadow Lane.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's, you know, there's a lot like that. There's a lot worse too. Those were just ones that I had time to look up and ask Jen, and Jen did all that for us. So that I wasn't just talking and showing you nothing.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and if we're done with this, I have reappraisal information for you.
I think we need to motion
Right.
to do this first.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have a motion to approve the expenditure of
14,200.
so 14,200. So thank you, Brad. A second. Thank you, Mike. Any other discussion? All in favor? Ask for. Okay.
Okay, reappraisal, yay. So, we've started the computer stuff. Nimerick has started entering the information into the computer. We made up postcards. These are the postcards. Jen has a beautiful example of what is going to be mailed out to each resident. And it will not be a mass mailing all at once. It's going to be road by road, whatever Nimerick, their appraisers, when they go out to do the appraisal, they're gonna go road by road by road by road. So they will have me print off each individual parcels that are active, because the inactives are attached to the active ones. And the owners will be receiving this postcard, so don't throw it out. Because if you want to set up an appointment, then call me, because otherwise they're going road by road and they're just gonna show up. And if you want to be there when they're there, because it's best if they can have entry into the house, which you do not have to let them be in your house. But if they're not allowed entrance into the house, then they have to basically go off from their knowledge of what they think is there, and then there might be information that's wrong, and then there's back and forth phone calls and things like that. So when you receive this, if you want to make an appointment or you're okay with them just showing up, then that's fine, but you will get this, and it has my phone number. Once we get our phones up and running, you can call me and we can set up a time if so needed. And then, it doesn't come into effect till April of 2026, so that November, that'll be your tax, on your tax bill is a new appraisal. But before that, when the the assessors come to your house, they're gonna be outdoors and they're gonna have identification on their car. They're gonna have a clipboard and they're gonna write down everything. It doesn't take them very long, 10, 20 minutes. when they go in, they don't take pictures of the inside of your property, they just write down like how many bathrooms, how many bedrooms, the square footage, things like that. And then, they will leave you this door hanger. If you're not home, they will leave this door hanger. If you are home, they'll give you the door hanger. But where the white part is, it will have your parcel information, most likely a picture of your house, if we have a picture of your house. And it will say what we have on file now. So like it would, 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 1,500 square feet, 5 acres. But where it says example down there, enter your personal code. That is going to be telling you right above it to go to shaftsburyvt.gov. And on the homepage, Jen will be putting up a red button that says reappraisal. You will click on that. And that is going to give you access to everything that for frequently asked questions, time, schedule, what roads are on, what roads they've already done, what roads they plan on doing. And then with that personal code you have, after about 2 weeks, since they've been to your property, you enter that in and it will tell you what they have for your property. They're gonna say you have 3 bathrooms, they're just gonna say you have 5 acres and this and that. And if you find something that's wrong, like, no, I don't have 3 bathrooms, I have 2 bathrooms, call me. We will write it down and then I will just discuss it with the assessor and, oh yeah, it does say 2, I'll fix that. And then he's like, oh, I had 2, then they will call the homeowners and we will try the best to our ability to fix any incorrect information because, we're all human. They could hit a 3 instead of a 2. But our job is to make it fair for everybody. And FYI, everybody's appraisal is gonna go up majorly because we haven't done a reappraisal since 2010. And the value of your property is the assessors are seeing between 30 to 60% increases for towns that haven't done reappraisals. And there's also, since our town doesn't have zoning where you need to get a permit to upgrade your kitchen, things like that, where a house sold for 100,000 and now they're selling for 500 because they've been all redone. And we don't see that. And we don't come in and say, oh, you did your kitchen over, I'm gonna raise your appraisal. So a lot of people are gonna see that, and if they just bought the house 2 years ago, they're not gonna understand. Well, 5 years ago, your kitchen was empty. So don't be mad. It doesn't mean your taxes are going up 60%. If your value goes up 60%. But we don't control the school budget. So I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, that's an amazing amount of information.
There's a lot. We're under order by the state to do this. It's not because we want to, which we should have anyways, but still, the state is telling us we have to, which is a good thing, because it needs to be fair. It needs to be fair for everybody. And when the houses are valued at 200,000 and they're selling for 500,000, that's not fair to the other people. So everyone needs to pay their fair share of taxes. And, this is not a thing that because they like you more, you're gonna get a deal. No, everybody gets, it's even across the whole thing. So I don't want anyone to think that they're being singled out or anything like that, because it's not. It's all, these
Across the board.
these assessors have trained, they have schooling, they have to go to school for 6 years to be an assessor. I mean, that's a lot of education, and our assessor is excellent, and he is very knowledgeable. It's just amazing. It's just watching him do what he does and how he understands it. And he doesn't decide on what the value is. He puts the information into the computer. It's Marshall and Swift. It's a company that is worldwide, I believe, but I know a lot of the United States use them. and they just type in the information and it's based on construction costs and I believe, I'm not them, but Nate will put in the information and then that will give you the value. And it's neighborhood, there's a lot to it. It's not just because, you know, you live in this house and your neighbor lives in that house. There's a lot to it, a lot more than I know, but, they're very good. So I think that's it for me.
Ah,
Thanks, Tina.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and don't hesitate to call, but I don't have a phone right now, so sorry.
Can people leave you a message?
They can email me
They
at
can email you at,
assessors@shaftsburyvt.gov, and all that information about address, emails and stuff is on our webpage. And then as soon as our wonderful webmaster gets the reappraisal information from Nimerick, that will be up on our website. We don't know when that's gonna happen. But they haven't even gone out yet, so it's more like getting everything done first, so.
thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Like a round of applause.
Good info.
Okay. Next item is Energy Committee. And we have here the Energy Committee Chair, Andrea Baki. Hi, Andrea.
Hello.
So first, you're going to report to us on the proposed use of a MERP grant, and then we're going to discuss an energy coordinator.
Sounds good. Thanks for inviting me to the meeting. I wanted to just give a little report on the fact that the Energy Committee has been granted the MERP grant for $4,000. And we have discussed on the committee that we'd like to use some of the money, at least to start, to put together a email campaign. Probably I was considering monthly, but I think it's going to end up being bi-weekly because there's so much information that needs to come out and we want to make sure that the residents and everybody gets the information needed around energy initiatives and programs that are available to save money, to save the environment at the same time. So we've discussed it as a committee and we'd like to, put together the email campaigns, most likely using something called MailChimp or Constant Contact. We're not quite sure yet. And then essentially I would put together the emails and then the committee would look over, because, me being in marketing and the energy experts being in energy, they will be able to give me feedback and make sure that we're on the right track. So that's kind of what we're thinking right now. I do want to also discuss with them at some point putting together a resource list of energy resources for Vermont so that it could be placed onto the website, maybe in a PDF form that can also be printed and placed in the town clerk's office. So people that are not digitally connected can also have those resources. But for right now, we're going to start with an email campaign. And it'll not only have the information in the email, but it'll essentially direct a lot of people to our own town website, as well as other websites that make sense, like, Renewable Energy Vermont, the organization as a whole, but also like the event that's coming up that I mentioned earlier during public comment. So that's kind of where we are now. And I think it'll be really, it'll be beneficial, I think, not just for the residents, but also for the select board, so that everybody knows, because of the mission of the Energy Committee is not only to make recommendations to the select board, but also give information and educate the public.
Yeah, it's a two-part mission, yeah.
Exactly. Yep, two-part mission. So so that's kind of where we are right now, and if I have the blessing from the select board, I will move forward and sign up this week for beginning the email marketing account and all that jazz. So do you have questions or concerns or anything? Happy to address those in any way possible.
Thoughts or-
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Cool. Okay, well, if anybody has questions like after this meeting, whether it's the select board or it's anybody from the public, feel free to reach out. You can email me at andrea.baki802 at gmail.com, and that's a designated email for the town topics. So if anybody has any questions, feel free. So does that mean I have your blessing to go forward?
It does. Everybody.
Okay.
We're good.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so the second piece of the our agenda under the Energy Committee is discussing what to do about the position of the energy coordinator, which is a position that has been, although on the books, it has been inactive for many years. And it is, in fact, a component of the recommendation from the Enhanced Energy Plan. The first part of that little recommendation piece was that we should make an energy committee, and we have done that, and they are up and running, as we see. And the second part was that we should appoint an energy coordinator.
I think it's Ben Hewlett, the energy.
He is, nobody has ever been appointed in his stead, but Ben has not been reappointed for more years than we can trace. So, and such appointments get reappointed, right, on a regular basis. So I was wondering, I guess, I'm wondering what other people's thoughts are about this. My thought was it should ideally be an energy specialist from the committee, since that person knows what's going on and is keeping an eye on things as a member of the committee anyway. Other than Andrea, all the members of that committee are renewable energy specialists.
Remind me what the energy coordinator's position entailed when it existed in somebody actually doing the position, because I don't actually know and don't remember ever hearing reports or getting things in the town report
No,
about
it was never an active position.
like we do for the town health reports and other officers of kind of the
Yes.
government.
Well, I believe in other towns, where the energy coordinator is more active as a position, they do stuff like that. So it's in line with the way, for example, the health person reports on health. Right? And they create an annual report that becomes a piece of the annual report. Make a report at town meeting on the situation of energy resources in the town and what the town is doing in relation to them, what they recommend the town should be doing, what the situation is for the public in the town, what the situation is with the town-owned buildings and cars and trucks. So in a sense, once you have an energy committee, the energy coordinator, as I understand it, serves as the liaison to the public and to the select board from the energy committee. And is supposed to be an energy expert, because there's supposed to be somebody that, if we needed a sudden opinion on something, we could call. Paul could call somebody and say, oh my God, we're having this enormous energy crisis at the town garage, and we have to replace this very expensive item. And we have three different alternatives about ways we could go with all the new technology. Could you please make a snap judgment, energy coordinator? And that, instead of waiting for the whole committee to meet and weigh in, which is what they would do if there was a slower moving decision to make. The coordinator would be up to date on all that kind of stuff and be able to make it.
Yeah. Great. Do we need to? Are we, what are we doing? Are we making a decision on that tonight? Or?
A volunteer
had to step
position,
forward.
or is this
We're
an
looking for
appointed
volunteers.
position, or is this? a
Well, it has to be,
Paid position?
it's
Is
not a
this
paid
like-
position.
Okay,
It is an appointed position. And if we agree, I don't think we need to vote on this right now, but if we agree on that it should be somebody from the energy committee, an energy expert from the energy committee, then we could ask the chair of the energy committee to recommend somebody from that committee or to figure out if there's one of them who's willing to do it. It's not like, you know, like they're all jumping up and raising their hands, I'm afraid. So. Yeah.
I
Seems
think
sensible to
Yeah.
people?
Yeah.
Okay, so then, as I understand the process, we would then need to vote to appoint the person that
That
committee
comes forward,
recommends.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Great. Sounds good. Okay, Andrea?
What was that? Did you ask me if it sounds good?
I think you just got your mission.
Oh,
I'm
Gotcha.
calling you back in. Could you go back to your committee and ask one of them to please serve as the energy coordinator?
sure. I can do that. Absolutely. And is that information on the website or is there like a job description? Because I mean, just kind of like Martha asked, I'm not actually sure.
Currently, it's Ben Hewlett on the website, and it's been that way for a couple
But
of
it's
years.
never had a job description on our website.
Ah,
Does,
I don't
I
know.
mean, it's very vague.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It does have a job description on the BCRC website.
Okay.
They have a whole component on what town energy coordinators can and should do, or what they are recommended to do. And I
Okay,
Would you
it's
like to?
in the purview of our energy committee to look at that and make a decision about which pieces of it they think are appropriate for us to adopt.
okay. I think I heard you correctly. I'm just gonna speak back that the information is on the BCRC website. I'll just look at it, see what it entails, and then just ask somebody on the committee to volunteer to serve as the energy coordinator, and then just let you know in the future.
Yes, and I think you may find when you look at the description of energy coordinators on the BCRC website, that that it's very large, that it's very expensive, and so you might want to pare it down. to what
Okay,
Thanks for Shaftsbury.
sure. Okay, I can do that. And then how would you like me to inform you? Just by email, or do I need to come back to a meeting and present it or anything?
Email is fine.
Okay, sounds good to me. Thanks, I will do that.
Okay. Discussion of rides to the polls on November 5th. Paula, do you
Oh,
want to talk about this, or do you want me to talk
no,
about
I mean,
this, or
people
Martha?
in the community have expressed a desire for help to get to the polls, right? So in speaking with Marlene downstairs, it's kind of under her purview, I think, since she runs the elections. And she's requested that people contact her, but she needs to get a good sense of like what the scope of this is, of like how many people we're talking about. Because she applied for and received a grant, an election grant for $5,000. And in that, she's like, we can hire a driver, we can have some kind of something.
Mhm. But we don't know what yet.
We don't know what yet, so all we know now is some people would like assistance getting to the polls and we'd like to help. And Marlene's the point person.
Could hire Uber for the day.
What's
Hire an Uber for the day.
I know. Get a limo, get them there and stuff.
But I think it probably also needs the sort of go ahead of the select board. Or at least does anybody have
Any concerns
any
or?
concerns?
I think one of the things that I have noticed, having been a poll worker now. When we were over at the firehouse and then at the, town garage, is that. The parking situation at the town garage is kind of all over the place, and it depends on how busy it gets, 100%. But one of the things I have noted, especially for our elders in our community, is that the parking is all far away from the doors, and so they have to cross the parking lot on gravel with walkers, canes, sometimes being held up by their caregiver to get across. And it is a fairly long walk if you have arthritis or other mobility issues. And that we do not at the moment have an easy way to get folks over. And I've witnessed almost several falls happening.
We do.
Okay.
Parking's right up by the garage.
But I feel like it's not necessarily been well kind of laid out in a way, and I think a lot of people are just parking because they see automatically the signs out far away, and so I've watched people
But we
kind
do
of.
have handicap parking right
Yeah,
by the door.
so I
It's
think that
on
maybe
the slab.
showing that and talking about that and expressing that in a easier manner in some way, and I don't know exactly how, but to make sure that we're providing that service, because I do not want to perform medical duties while working as a poll worker and have seen some kind of scary near misses of folks going down in the parking lot, so.
So
when
there's
we're
sort of
talking
two
about
different things. There's-
accessibility and mobility, of the poles, that is something, because it's not a paved driveway like it was over at the
Right, but people shouldn't be trying to go across the parking lot in walkers. They should be, their caregivers should be driving them right up to the door and
100%,
letting
but
them
I think
out.
that a lot of
Right.
people are not necessarily savvy in that space, and that parking just kind of gets to be a mishmash
We
free
do
for all.
have, signs up though.
Yes,
For
yes.
handicap parking,
Yep,
right by the doors.
yeah,
Yes,
We need a little space, but they can get out right on the slab
right,
and come right in, and that's what
And-
we want them to do.
and
and
I think we need to draw people's attention to that in every venue that we can, and this is
Yeah.
one of the.
right, one
venues.
of those things for
Um,
mobility, and I
but-
think it's just harder because this is a gravel space as opposed to over at the firehouse where there were literally lines that showed, and there
Yeah.
was one that was like designated, with the cute
Right.
little picture of the
Mhm.
mobility, access not only on the sign, but on the pavement, and so people are like, oh, yes, that's where I'm supposed to arrive to be, coming in. So. Just, I think, things, talking about access and mobility as we're getting people in and out of schools.
Over at the firehouse too, I mean, I almost fell a couple of
I
times.
mean, you
Because-
can always fall.
Yeah,
That's the
But
thing, but,
parking was so limited up by the door, you had to park down in the driveway. And coming up that hill, walking up that hill was not fun in the winter.
Well, these are reasons why it really would be great if people who have trouble walking could get rides.
Right,
Right,
exactly.
and that's
because
what
they were
we're.
just pulled right
Exactly.
out. to the-
Mhm.
Because I think it is very much a social thing, and I've had several people express these mobility concerns and, have talked about the fact that in November, everybody will be receiving a ballot in the mail. You can vote by mail. There's a drop box here that's handicapped accessible, but for many people, going to see their neighbors, seeing all the coworkers, it's like,
The ritual.
similar to
Right.
going to the transfer station, you
And
see all your people.
The hope would be to
Yeah.
set up a schedule.
Yeah.
To have people
Yeah.
driven to the polls back,
Mhm.
and we want people to come out and vote if they want to. Right. Even though the state's trying to make it as easy as possible for everybody to vote.
So we're gonna, have a little subcommittee to work assisting Marlene in figuring out the details of that, and making sure it's all possible within the next week or two, and then at the next select board meeting, we will be able to make an announcement of exactly how it's gonna work.
So if I have any volunteers on the select board, we can set up a meeting next week. They say show of hands.
Let's try to maybe get a hold of
Okay.
some of the people that have been sending emails and then see.
Can you forward those emails to me?
Yeah, I only received one, but I don't know if
I haven't gotten any,
you've
no.
received any more, but other
No.
people have just spoken with me.
Okay, ask them to contact me.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
I
perfect.
will
Great,
send
thank you
them.
very much.
Okay.
Okay, other business. Quiet evening. You okay, Corinne?
Knock on wood, throw salt over your shoulder, don't use the Q word.
I didn't say anything about the Western Front. Review of action items.
We have all of the, upcoming meetings on the website, I'm assuming, for the enhanced energy plan, the road discussion, the V-Trans.
Any questions? Of course
I'm
we do.
assuming that we have them all up there. That's awesome. And then we've got the subcommittee. Oh, we've got the continuing work to try to get to the bus stop.
Mhm,
We're gonna send a message to V-Trans,
mhm.
expressing concern about the speed signs
And requesting
in northbound,
initiate,
southbound, and
a
to initiate.
reevaluation of the speeds.
Correct. And we are going to have that, subcommittee to discuss with Marlene these, rides to the polls, getting out to vote. That's all I got.
Anybody else? Got something?
Oh, did we want to mention the volunteer thing? If we do have people volunteer to do rides, we are covered.
Yeah, we looked into it, called the VLCT or emailed them. Any volunteer we have working for the town of Shaftsbury is covered under our insurance. Whether in a cemetery or over 18 anyway, we don't have.
We can't put kids to work, apparently.
What a shame. And they probably have to have a driver's license too. But yeah, so I guess. In upcoming meetings, we should start making announcements that we want drivers.
Could use a lot of volunteers for a great many things.
We could indeed.
That's something we gotta put a list down for.
Mhm.
Yep.
Can I have a motion to adjourn? Second, Mike, and any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.